Welcome back to the channel once again. This is the best and only university admissions enquiry channel on YouTube. So kindly click on the subscribe button and be well informed on all the entry requirements, available programs, and advice about your favorite university applications in the country. Over the past few weeks, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology officially advertised for the 2021-2022 admissions entry, where application forms will be sold until the month of November 2021. So I'll urge all applicants not to rush with their applications, but rather take time to carefully read the available programs of interest, the entry requirements for the programs, as well as its cutoff points for the last academic year before you can give yourself a green light to start your application. So what happened during last year's online application was that weeks before admissions, the university will indicate on some of your selected programs as disqualified. And this implies that you were disqualified for that program because it required some specific elective subjects or grades which you did not qualify for, and you decided to ignore and apply for that program. And an example is a program like the Bachelor of Science in Architecture, of which an applicant must have elective mathematics, which is mandatory, alongside some other specific electives from the technical, general arts, general science, as well as the visual arts. And if you miss out on these specific elective subjects, the university will automatically render your program selection as disqualified. So please sit tight and watch the video from the beginning to the end and understand how the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology calculates the aggregate of applicants, showing various samples of WASSCE results and the appropriate programs one can apply with such results. So if you have never visited the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, you can simply use Google and type KNUST for short. And the official homepage for the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is knust.edu.gh, and it's officially announced for the information of prospective applicants and the general public that the e-voucher for degree topper programs of study at the university for 2021-2022 academic year is now open. So let's click on the apply now. It takes us to further announcements for WASSCE, SSCE, Advanced Level, Mature, ABCE, GBCE, and IB applicants. And there's also information on the sale of the e-voucher for the online application. And the point of sale of the e-voucher is being sold at all Ghana's regional post offices, and is going for 220 cedis for Ghanaian applicants and $150 for foreign applicants. Applicants are required to submit 2 copies of the online application and any other relevant document. And all completed applications should be submitted by post, EMS, DHL, UPS, or FedEx to the Deputy Registrar, Academic Affairs, Kumasi, Ghana. And the deadline is also stated, which is on the Tuesday, November 30th, 2021, with the exception of matured applicants who are to submit on or before Sunday, October 31st. And you should also take note that the university is not going to accept any hand-delivered application. There is also information of available programs at the Obuasi campus, as well as top-up programs. And applicants are also to take note of these following important messages before you can go ahead and apply online successfully. So let's quickly go and check out the admission requirements as well as the cutoff points for all programs being run at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So this is the official admissions brochure for KNUST, showing the entry requirements and guidelines for selecting undergraduate programs for the 2021-2022 academic year. So the admissions brochure contains all the available programs, entry requirements, and the cutoff points, which is very important and should serve as a guide when you are applying for any program at the university. So the basic entry requirement for an applicant for admission to a degree program in the university must have credits in 3 WASSCE SSCE course subjects, which includes English language, mathematics, and integrated science, and credits in 3 WASSCE SSCE elective subjects or its equivalent relevant to the chosen program with an aggregate of 24 or better. And you should take note that the university only accepts A1 to C6 for WASSCE or A to D for SSCE and does not accept D7, E8, and F9 for any admissions purposes. It's also worth noting that the 3 core subjects are prerequisite for all programs of study at the University of Science and Technology. So let's quickly scroll down to the cutoff points for all the available programs at KNUST. And the cutoff point is grouped into colleges. There is the College of Agricultural and Natural Resource, the College of Arts and Built Environment, the College of Engineering, the College of Health Sciences, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and the College of Science, as well as cutoff points for available programs at the Obuasi campus. So please find time and read the admissions brochure thoroughly before applying online to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So when you are satisfied with the program that you want to apply and you meet its entry requirements as well as the cutoff points, you quickly head to the Apply Now button and start your application. And you are also to take note of this following announcements: that any applicant who makes any form of solicitation to any person or group of persons for the purpose of influencing or gaining admissions into the university does so at his or her own risk. So we click on the Apply Now, we enter our serial number, PIN, and log in to start our application. I have a full video on how to apply to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology online from the beginning to the end, where you have to print out your proof of application. So you can check out that video if you are having any challenges applying online. We move on to the first sample results of a visual arts applicant who obtained a grade B2 in social studies, a grade C6 in English language, a grade C4 in core mathematics, a grade B3 in integrated science, a grade C5 in information and communication technology, a grade A1 in general knowledge and arts, a grade B3 in graphic design, and a grade A1 in leatherwork. So using the social studies, English language, core mathematics, alongside 3 of the best electives, this applicant will obtain an aggregate of 15, while using the English language, the core mathematics, and the integrated science alongside 3 of the best electives. This applicant will obtain an aggregate of 16. So these are some of the related programs this applicant is likely to gain admissions into. And there is the Bachelor of Arts, Communication Design, Graphic Design option, which was cut off at aggregate 15 as of last academic year. And to be on the safer side, this program should be selected as fee paying with an aggregate of 15. The Bachelor of Fine Arts, Painting and Sculpture, which cut off at aggregate 19. The Bachelor of Arts, Integrated Rural Arts and Industry, which was cut off at aggregate 17. The Bachelor of Arts, Publishing Studies, which was cut off at aggregate 15. And to be on the safer side, should be selected as fee paying. The Bachelor of Science, Metal Smithing and Jewelry Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 21. The Bachelor of Science, Textile Design and Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 17. The Bachelor of Science, Fashion Design, which was cut off at aggregate 16. The Bachelor of Science, Ceramics Design Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 24. The Bachelor of Education, Junior High School Specialism, which was cut off at aggregate 24. And finally, the Bachelor of Science, Packaging Technology, which was also cut off at aggregate 24. We move on to the second sample results of a visual art applicant who obtained a grade D7 in social studies, a grade C5 in English language, a grade C5 in core mathematics, a grade D7 in integrated science, a grade D7 in literature in English, a grade B3 in ceramics, a grade B3 in general knowledge in arts, and a grade D7 in graphic design. So because of the D7 obtained in social studies and integrated science for the core subjects, and a grade D7 obtained in literature in English and graphic design for the elective subjects, this applicant hasn't yet satisfied the minimum entry requirement for a degree program, thus will not gain admissions for any degree program at the University of Science and Technology. We move on to the sample results of an agric science applicant who obtained a grade C4 in social studies, a grade C5 in English language, a grade C6 in core mathematics, a grade B3 in integrated science, a grade D7 in chemistry, a grade C6 in general agriculture, a grade C6 in physics, and finally a grade B3 in animal husbandry. So using the English language, the core mathematics, the integrated science alongside 3 of the electives, which includes general agriculture, physics, and animal husbandry, this applicant is going to obtain an aggregate of 22. And you remember I earlier said that the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology interprets grade C4, C5, and C6 with a value of 4. And this applicant is likely to gain admissions into related programs like the Bachelor of Science, Metalsmithing and Jewelry Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 21 and should be selected as fee paying, the Bachelor of Science, Packaging Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 24, the Bachelor of Science, Ceramics Design Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 24, and finally the Bachelor of Education, Junior High School Specialism, which was also cut off at aggregate 24. So someone may ask, because this applicant is an agric student, he should have qualified for a program like the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. But you should be very careful in taking note that the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture requires a good grade of at least a grade C6 in elective chemistry, of which this applicant obtained a grade D7. So if the applicant selects the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture thinking that he is an agric student, then he or she is going to be disqualified in advance because of the grade D7 in chemistry. So making reference from the admissions brochure of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology for the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, I read, WASSE/SSC applicants must obtain credit passes in 3 elective subjects including chemistry, which is mandatory, and any 2 of the following elective subjects, which includes physics, mathematics, general agriculture, animal husbandry, crop and horticulture, fisheries, and forestry. So kindly take note of these little mistakes which should not be repeated in the future during your application to the University of Science and Technology. Moving on to the sample results of a technical applicant who obtained a grade A1 in social studies, a grade C4 in English language, a grade C4 in core mathematics, a grade A1 in integrated science, a grade C5 in elective mathematics, a grade C5 in technical drawing, a grade B2 in building construction, and a grade B2 in physics. So using the English language, mathematics, and integrated science alongside 3 of the electives, this applicant will obtain an aggregate of 17. So this applicant is likely to gain admissions into related programs like the Bachelor of Science in Packaging Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 24 as of last academic year, the Bachelor of Science Mechanical Engineering at the Obuasi campus, which was cut off at aggregate 22, The Bachelor of Science, Construction Technology and Management, which was cut off at aggregate 14 and should be selected as a fee-paying option. The Bachelor of Science, Quantity Surveying and Construction Economics, which was cut off at aggregate 13 and should be selected as a fee-paying. The Bachelor of Science, Metal Smithing and Jewelry Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 21. The Bachelor of Arts, Integrated Rural Art and Industry, which was cut off at aggregate 17. The Bachelor of Science, Textiles Design and Technology, which was also cut off at aggregate 17. And the Bachelor of Science, Ceramics Design Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 24. We move on to the first sample WASSCE results of a science applicant who obtained a grade B2 in Social Studies, a grade B3 in English Language, a grade B2 in Core Mathematics, a grade B2 in Integrated Science, a grade A1 in Elective Mathematics, a grade B3 in Biology, a grade B3 in Chemistry, and a grade C5 in Physics. So using the English Language, Core Mathematics and Integrated Science alongside Elective Mathematics, Biology and Chemistry, this applicant is going to obtain an aggregate of 14, whilst using Physics is going to obtain an aggregate of 15. So this applicant is likely to gain admissions to related programs like the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, which was cut off at aggregate 15 as of last academic year, the Bachelor of Science, Physiotherapy and Sports Science, which was cut off at aggregate 14 as of last academic year, and on the safer side must be selected as fee-paying. The Bachelor of Science, Disability and Rehabilitation Studies, the Bachelor of Science, Disability and Rehabilitation Studies, which was cut off at aggregate 17, the Bachelor of Science, Herbal Medicine, which was cut off at aggregate 23, the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, which was cut off at aggregate 22, the Bachelor of Science, Geological Engineering, and should be selected as fee-paying on the safer side, the Bachelor of Geodetic Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 15, the Bachelor of Science, Industrial Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 16, the Bachelor of Science, Physics, which was cut off at aggregate 22, the Bachelor of Science, Materials Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 15 and must be selected as fee-paying to be on the safer side, the Bachelor of Science, Materials Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 15 and should be selected as fee-paying option to be on the safer side, the Bachelor of Science, Marine Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 14 and should also be selected as fee-paying to be on a much safer side, the Bachelor of Science, Agricultural Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 17, the Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, which was cut off at aggregate 19, the Bachelor of Science, Automobile Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 16, the Bachelor of Science, Chemistry, which was cut off at aggregate 20, the Bachelor of Science, Agricultural Biotechnology, which was also cut off at aggregate 20, the Bachelor of Science, Forest Resource Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 24, the Bachelor of Science, Aquaculture and Water Resource Management, which was cut off at aggregate 24, the Bachelor of Science, Landscape Design and Management, which was cut off at aggregate 20, the Bachelor of Science, Natural Resource Management, which was cut off at aggregate 19, the Bachelor of Science, Meteorology and Climate Science, which was cut off at aggregate 20, the Bachelor of Science, Environmental Sciences, which was cut off at aggregate 17, the Bachelor of Science, Civil Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 22, the Bachelor of Science, Electrical Electronic Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was also cut off at aggregate 22, the Bachelor of Science, Geological Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 24, the Bachelor of Science Geomatic Geodetic Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was also cut off at aggregate 24. The Bachelor of Science Materials Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 24. The Bachelor of Science Mechanical Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 22. The Bachelor of Science Metallurgical Engineering, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 24. The Bachelor of Science Medical Laboratory Technology, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 13. The Bachelor of Science Midwifery, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 15. And finally, the Bachelor of Science Nursing, which is available at the Obuasi campus and was cut off at aggregate 14. Moving on to the second sample result of a science applicant who obtained a grade B3 in social studies, a grade C6 in English language, a grade A1 in core mathematics, a grade A1 in integrated science, a grade B3 in elective mathematics, a grade B2 in biology, a grade B2 in chemistry, and a grade C5 in physics. So using the English language, core mathematics, and integrated science alongside elective mathematics, biology, and chemistry, this applicant will obtain a final aggregate of 13, whilst using physics will obtain aggregate 14 as the final aggregate. So this applicant will qualify for related programs like the Bachelor of Science Computer Science, which was cut off at aggregate 13 and should be selected as fee paying on a safer side. The Bachelor of Science Chemical Engineering, which cut off at aggregate 12 and should be selected as fee paying on a safer side. The Bachelor of Science Civil Engineering, which also cut off at aggregate 12 and should be selected as fee paying on a safer side. The Bachelor of Science Computer Engineering, which cut off at aggregate 12 and should also be selected as fee paying on a safer side. The Bachelor of Science Geological Engineering, which cut off at aggregate 14 and should be selected as fee paying on a safer side. The Bachelor of Science Geomatic Geodetic Engineering, which cut off at aggregate 15 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Materials Engineering, which cut off at aggregate 15 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Marine Engineering, which cut off at aggregate 14 and should be selected as a fee-paying option on the safer side. The Bachelor of Science Environmental Sciences, which was cut off at aggregate 17. The Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, which was cut off at aggregate 15 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Physiotherapy and Sports Science, which was cut off at aggregate 14 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Telecommunication Engineering, which was also cut off at aggregate 14 as of last academic year. And this applicant will also qualify for all engineering and health science programs at the Obuasi campus. So we move on to the third sample results of a WASSCE applicant with a science background who obtained a grade A1 in social studies, a grade A1 in English language, a grade B2 in core mathematics, a grade A1 in integrated science, a grade B2 in elective mathematics, a grade A1 in biology, a grade B2 in chemistry, and a grade A1 in physics. So using the English language, core mathematics, integrated science alongside 3 of the best electives, this applicant will obtain an aggregate of 8, whilst using the elective mathematics and chemistry, the aggregate is going to change to aggregate 9. So this applicant will qualify for related programs like the Bachelor of Science Electrical Electronic Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 9 as of last academic year, the Bachelor of Science Petroleum Engineering, which was also cut off at aggregate 9 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Petrochemical Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 10 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Telecommunication Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 14 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Aerospace Engineering, which was cut off at aggregate 12 as of last academic year. The Bachelor of Science Chemical Engineering, which was also cut off at aggregate 12. The Bachelor of Science Civil Engineering, which was also cut off at aggregate 12. The Bachelor of Science Computer Engineering, which was also cut off at aggregate 12. The Bachelor of Science Medical Laboratory Technology, which was cut off at aggregate 8. The Bachelor of Science Medical Imaging, which was cut off at aggregate 11. The Bachelor of Science Dental Surgery, and this option should be selected as a fee-paying option only and was cut off at aggregate 8. The Bachelor of Science Midwifery, which was cut off at aggregate 11. The Bachelor of Science Nursing, which was cut off at aggregate 10. The Bachelor of Science Physician Assistantship, which was cut off at aggregate 8. And this applicant will also qualify for all engineering and health science programs at the Obuasi campus. All applicants must take note that depending on the courses that you are selecting, the aggregate score may change because of the specific elective requirements for some of the programs. It is also important to take note that these cutoff points are for last academic year's admissions, and it is just to serve as a guide when selecting your programs. So please stay tuned to the channel for more videos on KNUST. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the upcoming video.